Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. Huge news to share with you all regarding the SEC Ripple lawsuit. We have a major delay. Things will be pushed back to December, then into 2023. This is not great news, and I want to break down the details, what the folks at Ripple are saying, what are the different attorneys saying. So lots to go through there. In addition, we have news about a movie is going to be made about Ethereum via Ridley Scott, the really well-known director. So crypto's going Hollywood, guys. It's just going into the mainstream now. We also have a huge update around Circle's USDC stablecoin. It will be integrated via Stripe into Twitter. So this is significant and a sign of what's to come with crypto integration into social networks and social platforms, guys. And we're going to break down that and much more, lots to go through. Before we get to it, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment below, and hit the subscribe button if you're new here. It helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. If you're listening on a podcast site, please give me a 5-star rating. Now, a quick word from our sponsor, and that is TaxBit, which is the leading tax service provider in the crypto industry. TaxBit makes it easy for you to calculate your crypto gains and losses. It's such an easy platform to use. I've been using them for years, and I used them again this past tax season. So I can certainly vouch for this platform. And a lot of the exchanges out there integrate TaxBit's technology. So be sure to check out TaxBit. Link will be in the description. Now, boy, I don't want to look at the market right now because the prices are down. Bitcoin is below $40,000 again. So still chopping within that range, my friends. So just want to give you an update what's happening here, but we are seeing higher highs and higher lows forming within that channel, and we just have to be patient. So not much to talk about with the price, but we are seeing a bit of a pullback, and hopefully things don't break, certain supports that are needed to maintain Bitcoin's retracement. Let's jump into the news here. Alien director Ridley Scott to produce film about Ethereum's rise. Camila Russo's The Infinite Machine has a movie deal. Guys, whether you love or hate Ethereum, this is huge for the crypto market. Ridley Scott is one of the tier one directors in Hollywood. Crypto is going Hollywood. And this is what happens when you're entering mainstream. Remember the movie The Social Network about Facebook and how it got started? We're seeing that moment now for crypto, guys. This is so significant. Once again, if you hate Ethereum, that's fine. This is going to bring awareness, education, and help people to more trust and understand crypto, right? Because you're going to see it in an art form and a movie form. And Ridley Scott, I love his movies, Blade Runner 2049, Alien and Aliens and so forth. A big fan of his work. So this is pretty cool. So Scott Free Productions, the production company behind House of Gucci and Blade Runner 2049, couldn't say that, has attached its name to an adaptation of the Defiant founder Camila Russo's book, The Infinite Machine, about the founding of the Ethereum network. According to Deadline, Shyam Madiraju is attached to write and direct, and director Ridley Scott will produce alongside Scott-Free colleagues Tom Moran and Vera Mayer. Here's a quote: "I can't imagine a better team to turn the riveting story about the people behind the most revolutionary technology since the internet into a feature film that will capture the hearts of our generation," said Russo. The Infinite Machine, published in the summer of 2020, was the first of 3 books of crypto journalists chronicling the journey of Ethereum from the brain of teenage Vitalik Buterin to second largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization. This is huge, guys. Pretty significant. And I have to say, we're hitting some tipping points here where, the things that I couldn't see on the horizon even just a couple of years ago are just popping up now. And I think we're moving pretty fast, and very bullish for the entire crypto market and for mainstream adoption, with more people getting educated, learning about the asset class and the technology, and entering the asset class as well. So this is pretty big. Now let's jump into the other news. So speaking of Ethereum, well, we know there has been a lot of news and coverage that we've done here about the conflicts of interest with Bill Hinman and Jake Clayton, and former SEC officials, of course, who gave Ethereum the free pass and then filed a lawsuit against Ripple. And Empower Oversight, which is the nonprofit organization that does a lot of government accountability, they do a lot of FOIA requests, lawsuits, and so forth to make sure the government's doing the right thing, right? They're not specifically targeted only at the SEC, but every facet and section of the government. Well, they tweeted out the following today. SEC seeks delay in crypto conflicts case to allow former officials' law firm time to object. You can't make this stuff up. They're talking about Bill Hinman and his former law firm, which is Simpson Thacher, which was part of the Ethereum Alliance and so forth. Empower Oversight seeks discovery documents and a timely briefing schedule. They continued here saying, in a new joint status report, SEC argued that the Empower Oversight's FOIA lawsuit should be delayed while the SEC waits for approval from Simpson Thacher to release documents at issue in the litigation. You can't make this up. Here's a quote from Jason Foster, who's the founder and president of Empower Oversight. The SEC is trying to duck accountability and delay judicial review of its failure to comply with FOIA by hiding behind a confidentiality interest of the law firm with whom its own ethics officials said its employee had a conflict. So the SEC ethics division essentially told Bill Hinman, hey, you can't meet with these guys. They're clear conflicts of interest. You, of course, ignored that. And the SEC wants to cover that up because they know that's conflict of interest and possibly corruption, and it will weaken them, rightfully so. And we know they're picking winners and losers here. They gave Ethereum the free pass. Bill Hinman had 15 million reasons to do so. And Jay Clayton blessed it, guys. So we know what's happening here, and you can see clear as day that they're just trying to hide things, cover up, delay, use all kinds of shady tactics, right? And this is an institution of the government that's supposed to have integrity, that's supposed to be protecting investors, but it looks like they've become rotten at their core. Now, speaking of delays and shady tactics, well, we got some not so good news with the Ripple lawsuit. So James K. Filan, he tweeted the following today. Both parties, SEC and Ripple, filed joint scheduling letter proposing opening briefs for summary judgment and expert challenges in August and closing briefs a few days before Christmas. Ouch. This thing is going to be dragged out, my friends. And boy, we got a lot of folks weighing in here. First, Ripple's Stuart Al-Aradi, who's the general counsel at Ripple, of course, he tweeted out in response to this saying, to all that have been following the case thus far, thank you. Know that Ripple is pushing hard and the court is working hard to resolve the case as soon as possible, despite the SEC time and time again doing everything they can to delay. So they know they don't have a solid case. So what are they doing? Drumming up anything they can to delay this because the goal is to try to tire out Ripple, right? And the same thing they've done to LBRY and other folks. Just keep throwing bullshit at you and try to tire you out, and hopefully that you give up, right? That's what they're trying to do, and that is it's just a sad situation for the SEC. It now looks like a resolution will come in 2023, and each day that passes is hurting U.S. citizens who were essentially the victims of a rug pull by the SEC. Wow. 15 billion in XRP market cap was destroyed the day the suit was filed, hurting the very people the SEC purports to protect. In December 2020, as Clayton and Hinman packed their bags, the SEC didn't seek a court injunction to stop XRP trading in the US when they filed the suit because they knew they couldn't get one. Effectively, the case has done so anyway, prime example of regulation by enforcement. So notice that they didn't tell the exchanges to stop selling XRP or telling Ripple to stop selling XRP or whatever, or whoever else, right? What's his name? Jed McCaleb and so forth. Nothing said, but rather these exchanges as businesses, they're of course going to be scared to list and sell XRP because they're businesses, and we see how the SEC is operating. Even Brian Armstrong, Coinbase CEO, has tweeted out the SEC is acting shady. So it's not the exchange's fault, it's the SEC SEC's fault. So this is what happens when you do regulation by enforcement. So Stewart continues here saying, Chair Gensler preaches justice delayed is justice denied when firms defend themselves from the SEC bullying investigations / inquiries. Quite the contrast from the SEC using every tactic at their disposal to keep this cloud of uncertainty over the market. Justice delayed indeed. The Biden executive order estimated that 40 million Americans own crypto today. No thanks to the SEC, who insists on saying that all or most tokens are securities and that U.S. exchanges are running unlawful security exchanges. If you ask which ones, no comment, no disclosure. Gensler refuses to offer any specifics whatsoever, and the SEC hasn't sought to shut down any exchange because they know they don't have any real jurisdiction over this $2 trillion industry. In the meantime, though, they'll leverage every tactic to create market confusion. That's absolutely what they've been doing. He continues here saying, already we're seeing a massive transfer of crypto talent, tech, and wealth moving offshore to jurisdictions with rational regulatory frameworks. Entrepreneurs are being advised to not start their projects in the US. How long can this be allowed to continue? And he finishes off here saying, and to those asking if this is a joint filing, yes, it is. But based on the SEC's track record, if we didn't agree to this, the next iteration would have very likely been even longer. So Ripple was kind of forced to agree to this, even though they don't want to, because the SEC is using all kinds of delay tactics, which really sucks. Now, Attorney John Deaton weighed in on Stewart's comments, saying, it's not difficult to read between the lines here. We know from the SEC's recent letter, Ripple was asking for mid-May for initial briefs. Most likely, the SEC informed Ripple if they didn't agree to August, the SEC would ask the judge for December, and Ripple went with certainty. Man, this sucks, guys. And Brad Garlinghouse weighed in on this, what Stewart had to say. He said, over the past couple of years, I found myself becoming far more familiar with the SEC than I ever thought possible, which is why it's beyond ironic that one of their goals is to provide disclosure. Yes, they don't need to abide by their own rules. So a lot of hypocrisy on the SEC's part. The SEC seems perfectly content to let the U.S. fall further behind, all in the name of protecting their own jurisdiction at the expense of U.S. citizens. Politics over policy is good for no one. We need clear regulatory framework now. And hopefully Congress can act, guys, early, and some of this can be put to bed. So John Deaton weighed in additional tweets regarding the joint filing letter, saying worse than expected. All final briefs due December 20th, 2022. Absent a settlement, end of March 2023, for a decision is now best case. So Attorney Jeremy Hogan had the following to say. This schedule is the exact worst case scenario that Attorney Filan posted the other day. The Ripple case is going into 2023. I've never seen a plaintiff want to delay a case this much. Only defendants normally delay. Why bring a case and then postpone the justice you seek? Great question. He said, in contrast, look at the SEC versus LBRY case schedule. The lawsuit was filed 3 months after the Ripple lawsuit and will finish 6 months sooner. Everything about the Ripple case is strangely backwards. I think that's because the SEC knows they don't have a strong case, and they keep doing these delay tactics, trying to push it out to hope that, you know, the folks at Ripple get tired, and they, you know, they get tired of spending all the money on legal fees and so forth, and that's, you know, it's kind of a game of attrition here. And but look, Ripple's got the ammo. They've got former SEC commissioners and a lot of folks in their back pocket on their team, guys. So I think they're going to fight this out, but hopefully, you know, Congress can move and we get clear crypto regulations, or there's some settlement, something else comes out, and the SEC is kind of forced to, you know, get this thing wrapped up as soon as possible. But right now, not looking good. When I say not looking good, I mean for the short term. Long term, not worrying. Obviously, I still have XRP in my portfolio, still my number one, and I believe it will still do well with alt season. My hope was that it would be some sort of settlement or conclusion to this situation would be in alignment with all season and send the price parabolic. But, no certainties, my friends, no certainties or guarantees. So we got to take it one day at a time and see what happens here. This is why I've said many times, diversify. So I have obviously XRP in my portfolio, but I also have Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cardano, Algorand, and so forth. So let's say the price of XRP, due to news like this, is maybe still held back a bit. I don't know. We'll see. I could be entirely wrong, but I'm just giving you guys possible scenarios here. And like I said, diversify. I'll take profits on other coins while I'm still holding on to this. But we'll see what happens. And nevertheless, Ripple continues to build. Monica Long, she tweeted out the following today: "This Earth Day, I want to call out how crypto and blockchain are uniquely suited to solve sustainability issues, specifically with carbon credits. Carbon credits markets suffer from silos. Poor transparency into what you're paying for are, in parentheses, are you really removing carbon from the atmosphere? Issues with double spend and inefficiency in price discovery." And she said, tokenizing carbon credits equals inherent transparency, solves double spend, and removes silos. Ripple has been partnering with companies like Zange, Carbonland DAO, Carbon Cure, and Invert World, using the carbon neutral XRP ledger to tokenize these real world assets. So Ripple continues to build. They continue to get partnerships. They're expanding globally. So I don't want you guys to think that this is going to stop their business. We've seen clearly they've grown significantly, opened up new corridors with ODL. They've added new partners and so forth. And I think it will continue to do that. And the crypto market is global, but obviously US is the largest capital market. And if there's a level of risk from the SEC looming over XRP, you're not going to get as much investments in building here in the United States. Globally, you will, but like I said, US is the largest capital markets. Let's jump ahead here. Jeremy Allaire, CEO of Circle. Well, that's a funny one, right, guys? Not Square, Circle. Well, he tweeted out some very bullish news here. I think a sign of what's to come with mainstream adoption and integration of crypto into social networks. So he tweeted out major news today for mainstream adoption of USDC, the stablecoin, with Stripe, and announcing crypto payouts with USDC, launching with Twitter as the first pilot customer. It's rewarding to see some of the most important internet companies in the world using Circle. And he said here, a long-held promise of digital currency like USDC has been removing friction and enabling anyone, anywhere to easily receive payments. Twitter creators exist everywhere the internet exists, and existing payment systems are expensive and complex to reach people easily. USDC provides an open platform for connecting people with value, with Twitter users able to bring a digital wallet and receive payments. By building on USDC Polygon, it allows for large-scale transactions at pennies cost. Yes, crypto payments can reach internet scale. Finally, he says, having one of the most important payments companies in the world, Stripe, adopting USDC is an indicator of things to come. We at Circle share their mission to grow the GDP of the internet and believe USDC is going to become a key building block for internet commerce. Wow, guys, this is huge. I'm going to try to get Jeremy Allaire back on the show. I interviewed him, I think it was last year, and to try to talk about this. This is pretty massive, guys. And you can only imagine that game theory, right? Facebook is looking at this. Obviously, they own Instagram and so forth. And look, YouTube could eventually do this as well. So big things ahead. I think this is really bullish news. Yes, it's a stable coin, but the USDC runs on different blockchains, but look, I could easily see Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, all these different ones getting integrated someday. So really, really big news here. Look at this. State of Tennessee prepares to hold Bitcoin and crypto as it seeks custody service. Wow, guys. States are looking to hold Bitcoin and crypto. I've interviewed the mayor of Miami last year, and he was looking into doing that. And I'm sure a lot of these states, as well as different countries, are looking to do this. It's amazing what is happening. So we'll see how this develops. I know there's going to be, some legal issues, some government law issues. They have to be careful what they do with taxpayer money, but let's see how they do it. If they're able to do it in a transparent way. Finally, Simplify CEO. Investors should be cautiously optimistic about crypto. Fund Group files to launch risk-managed Bitcoin future strategy after revealing plans to bring to market Web3 fund. Now, the headline almost reads bearish, but they're launching a Bitcoin future strategy. So they're actually building and expanding. And I think he's kind of they're positioning the statements like that because they're building like an ETF saying, hey, this is the solution. So ETF firm Simplify Asset Management is looking to expand its crypto related offerings. The New York-based firm proposed to launch the Simplify Bitcoin Strategy Risk Managed Income ETF. According to a Wednesday regulatory disclosure, it could carry an expense ratio of 97 basis points, the filing notes. The fund would invest in standardized cash-settled Bitcoin futures contracts traded on commodity exchanges registered with the CFTC, such as the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. The plan offerings option overlay strategy consists of purchasing exchange-traded protective but options and writing exchange-traded call options on Bitcoin futures or Bitcoin-related ETFs. So very, very interesting, guys. A lot of these traditional firms are just jumping into crypto. It's like almost every day, every week, we're seeing somebody's jumping in, launching a fund, filing for an ETF, just a sign of things to come. And I can't even keep up anymore. I feel like I need to build a database with all of these news items because they can easily be forgotten. Hey, that these folks bought Bitcoin, or these folks are launching a fund, and yada yada. So, but we have the videos online. This is why I have the video, the podcast, so you guys can stay up to date with all the investments, expansion, and all the great things that are happening in the crypto asset class. All right, guys, that's it. Let me know what you think. What do you think about this Ripple news? Certainly not great news, but I don't think it's bad news. I think this thing is just being pushed out. And my hope, fingers crossed, that Congress or there's some sort of catalyst that happens where this thing settles sooner than later. Anyway, let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below, and I'll talk to you all later.